Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, tonight we're doing it a little bit differently. My page, which is My Political Truth, has been getting censored and be getting blocked on a regular basis. So, tonight I am broadcasting from Trump Train 2020 Red Wave. We got 1 million. Let's go get 2 million. So I'm happy to be here tonight. Anybody that has never seen me before, comment in the comment section. I will be interacting with everybody. I'm really, really happy to be going live on this page. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Jerry Tomchinsky, and I run the page called My Political Truth. The reason I'm doing the live from the Trump Train page today is because I have been getting censored unbelievably. And I really want to be here and get my message out. And I got a lot to say. Some of you may have seen me do watch parties on this page. Some of you have not. I really want to get myself out there to anybody new seeing me. So we're going to get right into it. So Half Dead Joe chooses Kamala Heels Up Harris to be his running mate. How about that? I'll be honest with you. I initially thought that he was going to, well, you know what? Let's rephrase that. Joe hasn't chosen anybody. Joe has not chosen a single person. Joe was mandated this running mate. I don't believe Joe was even in the room when the decision was made. And I'm fully convinced that Joe found out about 5 minutes before the American public found out that who his running mate was going to be. And I promise you that as soon as he was told who his running mate was, he most likely forgot shortly thereafter. So, whatever happened to getting somebody that's qualified to be a certain position of public service? What happened to resume? What happened to qualifications? This woman is probably the least qualified person to be a running mate, to be a vice president, truthfully speaking, since Sarah Palin. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Kamala Harris has absolutely no business being anywhere near the White House. Yeah, he absolutely is. Katrina says because he is their puppet. He's absolutely their puppet. He gets told what to do, he goes out and he does it, without a doubt. I mean, and it's sickening to me that a vice presidential candidate had to be picked based on the color of their skin or their gender. I mean, we are living in a complete and utter upside down universe right now. This is unacceptable. This shouldn't be acceptable. And, just yesterday, we had to listen to this crap. This comes from, quote, more than 100 black male leaders, right? And this is what they said, and I quote, "Failing to select a black woman in 2020 means you will lose the election. We don't want to choose between the lesser of two evils, and we don't want to vote the devil we know versus the devil we don't know because we are tired of voting for devils, period." What the hell kind of thing is that to say? Can you imagine if somebody on the right said that? Can you imagine if somebody in President Trump's camp said that? It is completely unacceptable that a statement like that can be made and be allowed to be said on a public platform. On a public platform. If anybody here does not think that that was a racist comment, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That is right there that group of 100 male black leaders basically putting a gun to the DNC's head, telling them, you pick who we tell you, or you're not going to get our endorsement. So he picks Kamala Harris, or he gets Kamala Harris picked for him, because we all know that Joe can't even pick a meal these days, right? And he says, and this is in a tweet, and we know that he didn't write this tweet. He says, quote, I have the honor to announce that I've picked Kamala Harris, a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants, as my running mate. First of all, she comes from California. All of California hates her. And Mike McGuire, Mike, you just said it as I was spitting it out. She is more than just not liked. She is hated. She is hated because she plays both sides against the middle, because when it was time for her to be a moderate, she played the part to be a moderate. Then when it was time for her to be progressive, she enacted all of her progressive ideologies, which she already had them when she was working in downtown Willie Brown's office or under his desk, wherever the hell she was. I mean, Biden follows that up with, back when Kamala was Attorney General, she worked closely with Beau. Beau is his son that passed away from cancer, sadly. When Beau was a Attorney General of Delaware, while Heels Up was held the same position in California, right? First of all, Joe, stop bringing up your sons. Stop bringing up your sons. They are a train wreck. May you rest in peace. Anybody that gets brought up in your family. I mean, listen, Hunter took Beau's wife away from her, away from Beau. He was sleeping with her while Beau had cancer before Beau passed away. Joe, stop bringing up your family. Your family is a train wreck. And now we got more news about Hunter. Hunter supposedly, to quote the great President Trump, where's Hunter? Hunter apparently paid down $450,000 plus in back taxes over a 6-day period. And why isn't that getting questioned? I didn't see that reported on the Communist News Network or MSLSD or any of the rags. I mean, listen, we all know that these mainstream media organizations are going to continuously back the liberals, the communists, whatever the hell they are. And Jeff Zucker, who is the head of CNN, comes out yesterday and with a straight face, he actually has the gall, the audacity to say that he doesn't think that any of the cable news networks are against President Trump. This is the continuation of these people thinking that we are stupid. They know their supporters are stupid, so that's who they count on. Their viewers, their supporters. Listen, if you can watch CNN and go back to them day after day after watching a full day and they can't spit out a true word in an entire 24-hour period, and you go back to them the next day, listen, just like the people that voted in de Blasio, Cuomo, Newsom, all of them that are tearing down these Democrat cities, you deserve what you get if you go back to CNN nightly and watch these idiots continuously lie about what's going on, continuously not acknowledge the violence going on coast to coast, continuously reject the thought of Antifa being a terrorist organization or Black Lives Matter being a terrorist organization. But you're going to go out and continue to support these damn channels. I don't get it. I don't get it. I always thought that people were smarter than this. Apparently, I'm proven wrong yet again. Supposedly, Half Dead Joe and Heels Up Harris are going to appear together tomorrow. It says in Delaware, so maybe she'll be joining Joe in his basement. Who the hell knows? I mean, you know, I was watching, I don't know, one of the channels after this was announced, and one of them said, and I quote, Harris brings crucially needed youth and diversity to Biden's ticket. Yeah, she brings youth. He's 77. Who doesn't bring youth to his ticket? He's 77. She's 55. She brings youth. Yeah, she brings zero credibility as a vice presidential candidate. I'm sorry. She brings no credibility whatsoever. I personally, as big a scumbags as the Democratic Party is these days, I was fully convinced that they were going to insert Susan Rice into that position. So if, God forbid, Half-Dead Joe wins on November 3rd, that Susan can continue to push the Obamagate agenda and cover up everything and all the laws that they broke back when Barry was in office. I mean, I guess I was wrong. Charles, what's going on, brother? It's been a minute since we spoke. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, usually I'm not on this page. I do this off my own page, and I've been getting censored. So apparently I'm doing something right. But thank you for joining me. Let's talk off the air when I get off later. Shoot me a message. We got a few things that I'm sure we could discuss. Now, I want to talk about yet another thing. These, quote unquote, again, these 100 plus black male leaders, right? They come out and they make this demand that he needs to pick an African American woman. Well, sorry to tell you, Kamala is an African American. She's of Indian and Jamaican descent. So, Democrats are wrong yet again. And, Joe and his crew are still trying to save face for what he said the other day about black people not having diversity and whatnot. So now he goes and picks Kamala, who's not African American at all. And she was on the debate stage with him just a few months back. And she called him a racist. Straight up, she called him a racist because of his connection to segregationists back in his heyday. For his support of the KKK member Robert Byrd, who was also the Senate minority leader when he was in the Senate. Joe Biden gave the eulogy at Robert Byrd's funeral. But that's not brought up anywhere. The fact that he said he doesn't want his kids going to a school that's a jungle, that's not talked about anywhere. The fact that he used the N-word publicly on video over a dozen times, that's not brought up publicly. But yet President Trump is the racist. President Trump is the racist. I can't stand today's Democratic Party. They are not the Democrat Party that we all grew up with. At least back in the 80s and 90s, there was some civility between the candidates. There's no more civility. There's no more respecting the position. Joe says, she said she thinks Joe Biden is a racist, and she also believed Joe Biden's sexual misconduct accusers, but she still accepted to run as his running mate. Absolutely. I mean, this is the party of hypocrites, Joe. 100%. You hit the nail right on the head. This is the party of friggin' hypocrites. They are unbelievable. This is the party of do as I say, not as I do. I mean, listen, they support this embarrassment, this terrorist organization known as Black Lives Matter, whose slogan is, what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them? Now. That's who the Democrats support. Right? Joe Biden, Half-Dead Joe, comes out and in public states that the police are the enemy. For the first time in God knows how many elections, the nationwide police union backed a conservative. They backed Obama for both of his runs. They even backed Hillary last time. Nobody with anything between their ears wants half-dead Joe or heels-up Harris in the Oval Office. And listen, we all know what's going to happen. If, God forbid, half-dead Joe wins a rigged election on November 3rd, before he is inaugurated or before he's scheduled to be inaugurated, the DNC is going to come out and say that he is not fit to be president. They're going to come out and say what we've known since he announced his candidacy. I really hope we never get to find this out, because I really do hope that President Trump wins in a landslide. Listen, if I had full faith that this election was going to be done fairly, I would absolutely say that President Trump will win in a landslide. But everything going on, I have absolutely no faith that this election will be fair. And here are the two things that are going to happen. Now, if it's done fair, President Trump is going to win, no doubt about it. And the very next day after he wins, these idiots are going to start some kind of new impeachment thing. On November 4th, if the winner is allowed, if the winner is announced rather on the 3rd, on the 4th, everybody's going to forget about the coronavirus. On the 4th, everybody's going to forget about George Floyd, which they already forgot about. On the 4th, they're going to forget about BLM. They're going to forget about Antifa. They're going to forget about all of it. They're going to start digging into what they can impeach President Trump on and what they can waste another 4 friggin' years and hundreds of millions of more taxpayer dollars because they can't accept the results of the election, which, contrarily, they're accusing President Trump of that he's not going to accept whatever outcome happens. Are you kidding me with that nonsense? Rose, thank you for joining. Rose says Harris, along with Newsom in San Francisco, California, began the sanctuary city status for illegals that killed citizens April 2007. My brother was one of the hundreds in April that were murdered. Rose, I am so sorry for your loss. So incredibly sorry. Oh my God, unbelievable. And these are the people that are getting supported by Rose. What you just said to me really has thrown me for a loop. I'm so sorry for your loss. Again, the fact that people can continue to support these mutts and continue to vote them in, these incompetent, imbecilic morons. I mean, come on. AOC comes on Twitter yesterday and she says that billionaires need the working class. The working class doesn't need billionaires. Does this idiot realize that it's the billionaires that create the work for the working class and so on and so forth? And that's how capitalism is done. You don't need billionaires when you have a socialistic and communistic government. Of course you don't need billionaires then. Sissy says the Democrats have so much blood on their hands. Sissy, I couldn't agree with you more. Listen, I'm originally from New York, raised in Brooklyn, lived in Staten Island, lived in Manhattan for a little bit. I now got the hell out of that war zone. A little over 4 years ago, I'm down in Florida now where we have, we could carry, we have stand your ground laws, where it feels like America down here. But I still have family in New York. I always will. My friends are there, people I went to school with. I have friends that are on the NYPD. I got friends that are teachers. What is going on there by Il Duce Cuomo and Big Bird de Blasio is a damn embarrassment. Cuomo has the blood at a minimum 6,500 elderly, at a minimum. Not to mention the other 30,000 that died because of his lack of action. And they want to go and tout New York as the beacon of handling this pandemic? Are you kidding me again with that nonsense? Ron is chiming in, and Ron says the Democratic Party, the party of hypocrites, If they're accusing you of doing something illegal, you know damn well they're doing it. 110%. Listen, take for example the second President Trump witch hunt with the Ukraine nonsense, the quid pro quo. It was Half Dead Joe that on video admitted to saying to Poroshenko that if they don't fire the prosecutor Shokin before he leaves Ukraine that day, which was about a 6-hour differential, that they will not get the $1 billion. And he also admitted that President Trump was, Freudian slip, that Obama was behind him and supporting what he said. This is all on video. You think you've seen that video on the Communist News Network, MSLSD, the New York Slimes, the Washington Compost? Come on. This has been the biggest miscarriage of justice, the miscarriage of representation I have ever seen. You know New York is bad when de Blasio is so bad that I would bring in David Dinkins in a heartbeat. Because at least Dinkins tried. He wasn't the best. He wasn't the smartest. He wasn't that tough on crime, but he tried. De Blasio is actively trying to sink New York City. And for that, he should be put in prison for treason, for dereliction of duty, for fraud, for theft. His wife is responsible for making $850 million that was set aside for the Thrive program that took care of homeless vets. She's responsible for making that $850 million disappear like friggin' Houdini. Katrina chimes in with, they are ruining our lives. Uncle Donald has got to do anything he needed and wanted to do. Yes, 4 years wasted. Listen, Katrina, with everything that the Democrats and the victim rats, whatever you want to call them, have done to President Trump, he has still managed to get more done than at the very least the last 4 presidents combined. The best president before President Trump, and listen, I might be biased, but I'm speaking the truth, was President Reagan. Period. Diane Williams says, thank you for sharing the truth. Diane, listen, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support. I think people like me need to speak up. I'll never run for political office. That's not my thing. I can't be that devious. I can't be that evil. I'm not built that way. But I can come out here and speak out and speak up. And if it's unacceptable, I will talk about it. I don't care if it's the right, left, or center. I will call them out. I will call them out. Listen, I got a big problem with Mitch McConnell, the Speaker of the House, the Senate Majority Leader. My apologies. I have a very big problem with Mitch. Mitch McConnell is notorious for doing the following. He will endorse anybody running for Senate on the Republican side as long as they promise to vote for him to continue to be the Senate Majority Leader. Or if they lose the Senate Minority Leader. He wants to be the leader, and he won't endorse a senator unless they agree to that. And that has been a notorious thing with Mitch. I have a lot of problems with a lot of things Mitch says. But again, I'm here to call out the truth. I'm not here to pick sides. I'm not here to tell you that, I'm right and you're wrong. I call it like I see it, period. And yes, if you're a Democrat and you're voting for Democrat, then I will tell you you're wrong. Lewis says, want an argument from me? Do you have an argument? I'd love to hear it, honestly. I mean, if we're talking about dereliction of duty, and if we're talking about a complete miscarriage of justice, let's look at what happened in Chicago just the other night. Forget about what happens in Chicago on a daily basis, with dozens of people being shot daily. The murder rate is through the roof. The shooting rate is through the roof. But Officers act lawfully the other day, shoot back at a suspect that was shooting at them, and then these savages want to go out and riot and loot because now, hey, you can't shoot back at a savage if he's shooting at you. How the hell are these cops supposed to protect us and protect themselves? So they go and they take it out of their neighborhood this time. And they go down to the Magnificent Mile. And they tore apart the stores, the entire block. And then Beetlejuice comes on and talks about how we're coming for you. The only reason she said that, and I promise you could take this to the bank, is that one of her business interests was violated. Well, you know what, Lori? It's too late. You haven't been doing your job there. You're not doing your job. You put that poor superintendent of police out on the front line in front of the cameras every day. And what the hell is he going to say? What can he possibly say? I know he has to answer to you. God. She comes out and she says, quote, "What occurred in our downtown and surrounding communities was abject criminal behavior, pure and simple." Well, what about happens on Chicago's west side and south side on a daily basis? Lori, do those Black Lives matter? Do you at all give a crap about those Black lives? Lori Lightfoot has absolutely no place to speak. Nobody cares what she has to say. Nobody believes what she has to say. It is mayors like her and de Blasio and Durkin and Frey and Governor Newsom and Governor Cuomo and Governor Whitmer and Governor Murphy. All these communists that are running these states, the states that are begging for money from President Trump because they can't do a damn thing right. You guys deserve what you get for voting these imbeciles in. And if you live in those states and you didn't vote for those people, I am sorry. I feel awful for you. I feel terrible for you. But changes need to be made, and they need to be made immediately. So let's see what happens with, Heels Up Harris and Half Dead Joe. President Trump is going to be on Hannity tonight, so I really not wait to hear what he has to say about this. Guys, I want to thank you for letting me experiment on the Trump page today. I hope I don't get censored here, but I'm going to keep coming on wherever I can and do this nightly and get my message out. Thank you guys for whoever participated, whoever commented. Thank you all very much. I want you to enjoy the rest of your evening, and Trump 2020. Let's go. Have a great night.